TIL, the actor who played Random Task in Austin Powers, was sentenced to 7 years for torture and a further 27 years for murdering his cellmate whilst incarcerated. Wow! What a truly heinous crime he and his friend committed. What a relief that they found a workaround for the expiration of the sexual assault crimes, because what they did absolutely is torture. Those charges should not have a statute of limitations. While very minor, I am curious about this sentence. Jo-sun was first arrested for kicking in the door of the roommate's car. How do you kick in a car door? Murdering his cellmate. I've heard that if you're in jail and your cellmate is guilty of child molestation, you are encouraged by other inmates to kill your cellmate, otherwise you could be seen as being sympathetic to a child molester. I wonder if somebody was trying to kill him because of this. But it backfired and the guy trying to attack him was killed instead. I've heard this before, but I always assumed he did the rape torture thing after the movie, not 7 years before. So now when I watch the movie I'll know that this actor was already a huge piece of shit during filming. Makes it worse somehow. This guy was my family friend, without giving away too much personal info. He had terrible rage issues, stunk of garlic, and I remember how uncomfortable I was around him as a child. I wasn't told what happened to him until I was older. If anyone wants some justice porn, this guy was in one of the first youth events and got punched in the nuts like 30 times to lose a fight before that was illegal. Jo-sun vs Keith Hackney. Makes you believe karma might be real. His victim, who he kidnapped to work with a second assailant, had the DVD in her home the entire time and couldn't believe it. Years later she watched the movie and realized it was him. I can't imagine what she was feeling. That's going to be an unpleasant feeling seeing his character appear on later rewatches. He was also a largely unsuccessful MMA fighter judging by his losses. Hope that poor woman is healed and may this scumbag rot. I went to church with this guy. He hung out in our circles and at the time and to us he was just a weird dude and was in Austin Powers that we all thought was cool. We never knew how insane that dude was. Yeah, but I bet he was much more respected in prison after the murder. Dude was probably like, "Aren't you that shoe throwing fool?" And he just couldn't take it. No one ever mentioned it again. Must have liked the housing situation. Even he knows what the housing market is like. How can I nail down a long-term 1-bedroom apartment at an affordable rate? This guy figured it out. It may please some of you to know that he was also a very unsuccessful MMA fighter, and his contribution to the history of MMA was being repeatedly and rapidly punched in the balls. Link to a Scene Baby article about his crowning UFC moment, 3rd entry down, but the whole article is gold. These Wikipedia headings: Mixed martial arts career, Acting career, Crimes, rape and manslaughter, Mixed martial arts record, Kickboxing record. He also created his own but ineffective martial art. It didn't fucking work. He never won a fight. Better for society if this bitch never gets released. Not just any kind of torture, but torture committed during the 1990 gang rape. So, when you watch him in 1997 Austin Powers, think about that. When I first read this I thought it said sentenced to 7 years of torture and I was like, holy shit, I didn't know that was an option. Torture, huh? Did he make her watch Austin Powers 3? Oh, giga. But in all seriousness, that's really fucked up what he did. Okay. This is a serious subject and all, but I can't believe a gang rape is also called sodomy in concert. That's my TIL. Also known for his UFC performance during the early days. Jo-sun vs Keith Hackney. He seemed like such a lovely guy whilst trying to kill Austin Powers. I'm shocked. Shocked I tell you. Jo-sun was first arrested for kicking in the door of the roommate's car. How TF do you do that, lol? Fucking sucked at MMA anyway. If he's in prison, I wonder who is scaring Billy Goats off his bridge. I literally just rewatched Austin Powers last week. This is certainly some news to suddenly appear. Keith Hackney was unwittingly doing the world a favor by punching him in the dick during a UFC fight. Julian on the Shield, the closeted cop who married a religious woman, IRL shot and killed his wife. Watching his balls get fucking pulverized by Keith Hackney was always hilarious. Fuck Jo-sun. I just figured out he was called Random Task because his 007 equivalent is Odd Job. TIL. There's a video of them getting punched in their balls repeatedly during his MMA career. I love this comedy bit about Random Task. You can't get punched in the balls that hard, that many times, and stay sane. Before that, Keith Hackney punched him in the dick several times in the UFC. He also took about 30 elbow strikes to the groin in an early UFC match. Who throws a shoe? Come on! I can see that getting on my nerves, lol. Why is everyone surprised? He was literally one of Dr. Evil's henchmen. Damn, He's really 5 feet 4 inches? They made him seem huge in the movie, lol. Throwing shoes is a slippery slope. A gateway crime, if you will. He also fought at UFC 4 in 1997. It's an interesting fight. Please tell me he killed his cellmate by throwing a shoe. Anyone bring up his early UFC fights in Nutsack Attack? The podcast Crime and Sports has a great episode on him. Glad he got punched repeatedly in the balls in UFC 4. Maybe because in jail his cellmate tried to sun him.